Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Douglas Tilly, and I'm here in San Francisco's Union Square Garden University of St. Francis Hotel. I'm presenting tonight on my first episode of the Spacetime Navigators Diary. These are the one-sided conversations that I have with the astronaut of the universe outside the range of human sphere of awareness, in which I speak with the high courts of the universe and other beings here, as well as the natives of the earth, as well as my grandmasters, masters, and more of the guild. And I'm going to record as best I can and document these each and every time I have one. So in there it lies that I present to outside of the human race a vast amount of information that they need, as well as the human race needs, and I'm trying to make sure, since they're not listening, at least that I record some of it. So today's conversation is in and about what is known as replicated matter, and I was discussing that here, and they said it's probably a good idea that you should make it look off that there of your Spacetime Navigators Guild info. So I built this podcast, a diary. There are each one of these one-sided conversations I have in the universe, and today's conversation is in and about replicating matter and how it can be being. So as I was saying earlier, before I explained to everybody here, what is annihilable matter? How does it affect us here? What is it in the time war? How is it affecting us in the antimatter wars as well? And where I represent a border of where replicated matter and duplicated matter where replicated matter becomes duplicated matter. Now, in the arena of annihilable matter, this is what we call about replicated matter. My girlfriend and I were used for a vast number of years as the fuel source to fire the engines of fire and destruction of Armageddon. And with that, they were using fecal matter and other matter from each one of us and displacing us up and down the paradox, so we had displacement in time, and then throwing that at us so that we'd annihilate and there'd be a rollback in time. Okay? So over 300 million years of the use there of Armageddon, of us as fuel source, it displaced the vast amount of matter in two disparate points in space-time, meaning that when matter of one present and the same matter of that and another present come together, they annihilate. Okay? But when they annihilate, you understand, you really have this guy come over here, start screaming, and try to present.
That's my nigga. He do everything. He got missiles going.
So they started drumming over across the way when I tried to present earlier. However, okay, so where was I? Okay, in the displacement thereof of this matter, and the replication of matter, and the use thereof, 75% of all buildings in America are built with replicated matter and steel, and if not addressed in the arena of the time war and timelines, will eventually collapse if they don't ride up on the quarter of which the duplicated matter and replicated matter and the timelines crash down, and so that the duplicated matter, as opposed to one piece of matter disappearing in this round and one piece of matter disappearing in that round, I represent where that matter duplicates. So that happens in the thereof the energy that was put back in the annihilation thereof of her and I matter. They say that her matter and my matter in displacement thereof annihilation, only a very, very small amount of it actually annihilates, right? Then the rest of the matter is split across a vast amount of space-time of the same matter held in two different presents, traveling away from each other because of annihilation at near light speed. Okay. So with that, I'll go on and tell you more about this story. That her and I represent the border of, across the universe of, where as double or nothing, I rewrite in that of the duplication of 7.1 duplexes of sentient worlds. There's nobody around until I would like to present, and then next thing everyone's here. Okay, so going on with this, and I hope you guys all understand, I'm trying to record as much of the information that I have in my head, the living knowledge that in these conversations with both the human race, right? And this is still, what's going on? Yeah, story point. And outside the human race, what's going on here so that it can be addressed so we don't run into the same pitfalls that we had there of Armageddon. Again, my name's Douglas, and I am a Spacetime Navigator from the Grandmaster Spacetime Navigators now. So the meaning of replicator matter is excuse me. We have a displacement there where I represent a doorway between two worlds, in which, in the words of Armageddon, this matter that was displaced becomes duplicated matter, in which I represent a doorway. Yeah, that's so funny. There's no problems until I want to go live. Anyway, very kind of having me here. So this is a diary there of all these conversations I'm having, and this one's replicated matter. And the problem there is that if we don't address this in the universe, it is a root cause there of Armageddon. So I represent a doorway between two universes, of which replicated matter becomes duplicated matter, and the crashing down there of the timelines of the universe and the realm engines of the universe here in San Francisco to the 3-1 timelines of light that are coming through and up through Union Square, represented by those 4 squares, of which I represent where all life in there at some point died. And the 5-1's power and death and so forth. So here, with the duplicated matter and replicated matter, you have a problem thereof with the time world of these guys run into themselves, right, and blow entire realms into pieces. So in the wars of Armageddon, what's going on here in San Francisco is a root cause to that there destruction that's re-entered into Armageddon in and around these morons running around and stop time. If every one of them runs into themselves, this annihilates an entire planet, and I get left on another planet with one of the side timelines with all life extinct. Okay, that means that at some point in there, all those 3 timelines on the side died. All offense, left, right timeline, they all died. It's only the center timeline in which that represents the Ark of Covenant, Ark of Noah, and Ark of Testimony, when only with me, the living knowledge of the universe, passed through, where in the other 4 timelines, other 4 timelines of life, they didn't. These are the 5-1 timelines of life. They passed through that 5-1's power of death of the universe. Once again, my name is Douglas. Until tomorrow, I'm going to record as many of these as I can.